Good day everyone. I am April Kasarayan, a second year college at Davao Central College, taking a Bachelor of Science in Criminology. For today, I am going to make a podcast about the topic of law enforcement code of ethics. As a law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind. How often we forget that enforcement is not just job for which we are hired as one would hire a laborer. It involves a sworn duty. Service involves dedication and sacrifice of the giving of oneself. These are words that many find hard to swallow in his present day and age, but the job of professional law enforcement requires a special breed of man to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against the deception, the weakness against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder. We must, however, understand some of the limitations that are present in a truly democratic society. In such a society as ours, this task can be a difficult one because protecting the rights of the criminal, this is sometimes a hard pill for law enforcement officers to swallow. It is easy for an officer become better when he has continually witnessed the ends of justice towards by red tape, politics, and technicalities of the law. To respect the constitutional right of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. Respecting the rights of others is not one of man's natural qualities. It seems to be part of the nature of suspect and persecute justice on this earth. Now, will there ever be? Because man is not all-knowing, nor is he himself perfect. I will keep my private life in soul as an example to all. One of the first things that a law enforcement officer must learn is that he has no private life. Every citizen should be entitled to his own private life, yet when a person accepts the calling of law enforcement as a voluntary measure, he must be willing to offend his privacy as a sacrifice to the good of the community which he serves. I, a law enforcement officer, could hide from his neighbors the fact that he's a policeman. Then his private life could be his own. Maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn our ridicule, and develop self-restraint. Most officers are prepared to face physical danger, and the public expects it. This is due to the fact that when most people think of police work, they think of high-speed chases with guns blazing and similar situations in which the officer's life is in constant danger. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature that is confident to me in my official capacity will be kept secret unless revelations is necessary in the performance of my duty. Some officers feel that there is difference in that the information obtained by the doctor and attorney is freely given with the understanding that it will be confidential, whereas the information obtained as a part the law enforcement officer can be result of many sources of forms of investigation. I will never be permit personal feelings, prejudice, animosities, or friendship to influence my decisions. It is quite difficult to know which desire is strongest, and some person to help our friends to hurt our enemies. Both desires are part of our human nature. Helping our friends can be a very good thing in itself, but then it involves an inequity in the administration of justice. We are fulfilling the oath we made to the community in which we serve. I will never act officiously. One of the faults that is common to new officers is that they often act officiously. They appear to the public to be over-impressed with their own importance. With no compromise from crime, with relentless persecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear or favor, malice or will. The term with no compromise for crime means that crime will not be knowing permitted. It does not mean that the officer must perform his duties to the letter of the law, without taking into consideration of the spirit of law. No one can predict the guarantee, the final resort of any ethical. I will never employ unnecessary force or violence. At times, the use of force in the performance of one's duties is an absolute necessity. There is no escaping it. It is extremely difficult to judge exactly or not the use of force used in particular situation was necessary or not. The use of force of violence during interrogations will often produce immediate confessions, but it should be avoided on ethical grounds in that the interrogator seldom knows with complete certainty that suspect is guilty and the use of force. I will never accept gratitude. Gratitude takes two main forms. First is the gratuity given by a person with the sole intent of receiving something in return. Second, that is given solely but of a respect for law enforcement and the job that the police officers are doing. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith, and I accept as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of police service. This is the most overlooked and forgotten passer at of law enforcement by the men of the film. It is this that enables an officer to suffer the difficulties and problems that the held at times so frustrating and discouraging. It can only come from the job itself or from knowing the significance of the job and the essential role that plays in society. I will constantly strive to achieve these objectives and ideas, dedicating myself before God to my chosen professions, law enforcement. Proficiency in law enforcement involves many factors. It involves mental, moral, and physical conditioning. They are all important aspects. The officer who let himself sleep physically is certainly not able to protect society. However, knowing and understanding the code of ethics is not enough. It must actually be practiced. It must be lived. That's all for